Humans around the world kill 11,417 sharks. Who wants to set that again? Stick your hands up. Golden star for you. So 11,417 sharks killed every single hour. That is an average of 12 to 13 sharks every second. You guys are feeling really depressed right now, aren't you? It is quite sad. I'll explain a little bit more later on in the talk why this is really sad. We are moving these guys way too fast. Like, there's no way that sharks can possibly deal with the onslaught that we're giving them. And since the late 50s, humans wiped out 90% of shark numbers in our oceans today. So it's pretty bonkers. If you go to places in the world where sharks definitely were, now there aren't that many. And a prime example is from an Egyptian dive guide who used to tell me that if you go to the Red Sea in Sharm el-Sheikh and you go to a place called Tiran Island, has anyone ever been to the Red Sea diving? Yes, stick your hands up. There you go, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you go to the island of Tiran and you go to Jackson Reef, it's personally one of my favourite dive sites in the whole world. About 9 years ago, if you went diving there on the wall side, so on the non-shipwreck side of the reef, you could go diving down to 30 metres, and apparently if you looked up, you could have up to 20 tiger sharks swimming above your head. That's how many sharks used to be there. 4 years later, I went diving there 3 times, I didn't see a single shark. The Jackson Reef is one of the most famous reefs in the Red Sea for hammerheads. If you swim around the back of the reef early morning, you can actually get up to 30 hammerheads from out the deep and swim with you. It's quite interesting to think about, but I've never seen them, because every single time I booked on and paid the money, they went, sorry, bad weather. And I was like, no, of course. So I never actually got to see the hammerheads, unfortunately. Humans kill annually 100 to 250 million sharks, and that number goes up every single year. Okay, so it's pretty mental just how many sharks we're removing. But if you think about it this way, guys, if we can kill that many sharks this year, and then that many sharks next year, and the next year, and the next year, it just goes to show that these guys have been doing something pretty darn right for the last 450 million years. For there to be that many of a large predator in our oceans, it just goes to show how successful these guys actually are. And it's quite sad when you think that we're removing them at this rate. Sorry, it does get a bit more cheerful later on, I promise, okay? So a few people are looking really, really sad right now. So why do sharks bite? And I actually love that animation because it reminds me of my childhood. So why do sharks bite? So, do they find us tasty? Sharks don't view us as food. If that's the case, many of us who have ever been diving with sharks, who's been diving with sharks? Sorry, just stick your hands in the air. There we go, there's quite a few of us. If you've been diving with sharks, if anyone's been diving with sharks, if sharks ate us, we would have all been eaten long ago. I wouldn't get in the shark tank, the divers at work would have been eaten years ago. And if sharks did view us as food, at work we wouldn't put children aged 8 and upwards in the shark tank with the sharks. So it just goes to show. Kieran's done his head like, yes, that's very true. So, we don't taste good to a shark. Who here has a food that they absolutely hate? They stick it near their face and they just want to spit it across the room. What's yours?
I hate
beans. Beans? You're a student! What beans on toast on hungover then? Right, so what is your hangover food? Sorry, this.
I love like bacon sandwiches.
Even better than beans on toast. Even better than beans on toast. My food that I absolutely hate is Brussels sprouts. Oh, bite into them, I'll spit those across a motorway. And that's the way. I remember when I was a kid, and it's the same as what sharks do. You stick a Brussels sprout in your mouth, spit it out straight away. It's what sharks do. And have you ever noticed that when you watch Shark Week, who here watched Shark Week this year? I didn't watch it. But stick your hands in the air, be honest, it's okay. There we go. If you watch any programme in Shark Week, like Lair of the Killer Shark, Sharks Will Kill You, Demon Shark, all these pathetic programmes they've got on there now, you'll always have like a blonde-haired Australian sat on a beach with a vest top on. He's got like his surfboard next to him and he goes, well, what happened was? And he'll always say that he was on his surfboard. People, that's a really bad Australian accent, don't laugh at it. And you'll always get this blonde-haired Australian sat on a beach going, what happened was I sat on my surfboard, I saw a dark shape, it pulled me under for 8 seconds, spat me out and swam back to shore. That is how 99.9% of shark attacks go, because sharks bite us, realise they've made a mistake, and go, actually, you're pretty grim, and then just spit us out. And most shark attacks are superficial, and a lot of sharks that bite us aren't designed to bite through large muscular animals. So if you look at great whites, for example, tiger sharks, bull sharks, they're designed to bite through large predators, large animals, sorry. So if you got bitten by a tiger shark or a great white and they wanted to kill you, they could do it, no problem whatsoever, because that's what they're designed to do. Whereas a lot of sharks, like oceanic whitetips, yeah, sand tigers, for example, they have teeth that are designed like eagles. Now imagine having 250 needles in your leg trying to cut your leg off. Not really going to work very well, and that's how most shark teeth work because they're just not designed to do it. Intelligent? Go back. Sharks are actually quite intelligent. Great white sharks are very, very clever for the group of animals that they're in. I'm not saying sharks are stupid. Great white sharks can recognise their food. They can recognise the difference in shape, the difference in size. And great white sharks can even calculate speed and direction, which is something that's not really been found out before. Great white sharks can actually determine, judging by the speed of their prey swimming on the surface and which direction it's going in, whereabouts on the surface it's going to be by the time they get to the surface at the speed they're going at. So they actually aim ahead of their prey rather than aim at it, and this saves them time and energy, and they meet their prey at the surface, which is something that's quite interesting. Great white sharks, just to give you an idea of how clever these guys actually are as well, when these guys get lost when they're migrating, these guys stick their head out of the water and map all the stars in the sky and use the stars to guide their way home, which is really quite a cute thought when you think about it. They start a great white looking at the night sky like that. So it just goes to show these guys are quite clever, they do recognise their food. So I was trying to figure out where I am. So, as I just mentioned, sharks can mistake you for a food item. As smart as great white sharks are, they do sometimes mistake us for an item of food, like seals or something like that, but it's usually young sharks that do this. Now, a lot of people seem to believe that great white sharks are ocean-going animals. They live out in the deep sea, they live in the abyss, they live way, way, way away from people. What people don't seem to realise is that great whites are actually an inshore predator. So, as large as they actually hunt right next to the shore. And when I went out to Africa, what we were seeing on the boats, they always said that the media always portray white shark boats as drawing great whites out to deep sea and bringing them right over to the beaches where people are surfing and swimming. But in actual fact, what they're doing is the sharks are over the beach, having a nice suntan. And when you chuck a load of chum in the water, the sharks actually come away from the beaches to the boats. The only times that you actually get great white out in the open water is when they're migrating or they're going to Isla Guadalupe or places like that. So they're actually an inshore predator. So when you guys go out into the surf and the visibility is quite poor and people are on surfboards and splashing about, you do, in theory, look a little bit like a seal. So sharks will, of course, mistake you for that. Humans, of course, we do like to go in our oceans. We do like to go spearfishing, scuba diving, swimming, all these types of things that we like to do. When you go in the ocean, you're no longer in your house. Let's just get that across straight away. When you get in the ocean, you are in a shark's house. You have to respect that. And when you get bitten by a shark, it's not a case of the sharks come out of the water and walk on land to bite your bum. You've gone into its house. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was sat on my couch this evening and a man in a Speedo came and sat on the couch with me, I'd be quite curious what he was doing in my house and probably be quite tempted to bite a chunk out of him as well. And that's what the sharks do. Now, there was a video I saw not long ago that actually made me really, really angry. And there was a guy that went, shot a tuna, two silky sharks went, food! And then all came around to get this food, and they tried to take the tuna off him. And as the sharks are swimming in to try and get the tuna off him, he's pushing them away, which is what you're supposed to do. And then he goes the next step further and brings out his dive knife and starts stabbing the sharks in the top of the head to keep them away from the food. The sharks were fine. There's a few people who are really, really scared right now. The sharks were fine. But it just goes to show that people don't seem to think what they should do is just cut the fish off and let the sharks have it. Because at the end of the day, it's their house. It's their food. Sharks being provoked. I'm actually going to show you a video in a second that shows you a shark being provoked, and it is quite gory, I am sorry. You might have seen it on YouTube or on Facebook. It was in an aquarium in South Africa, not one that I went to, it's a different aquarium, but I'll show you that in a second. Sharks don't have hands, so when sharks bite people, they do it out of sheer curiosity. They come over, they kind of find out what you are by grabbing you with their hands and feeling you. They have to bite you to figure out what you are. So this is where you get a shark attack. When it's not just a shark and human-related incident. This is what it should be called. Hello.
Is it shark gore or people gore?
It's people gore.
Okay.
Is that okay or bad?
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Should I be okay or worried? Like, I'll just show you that video right now. Hands, have you seen this? One person. I thought you might have seen it, David. So just to give you a bit of backstory, just so you don't think that this guy's being really, really nasty. This is a sand tiger in an aquarium in South Africa. It is pregnant. It's one of the first times that a sand tiger's been impregnated in an aquarium. And this guy decided to go and wrestle a near 6-foot shark with his bare hands. And the sand tigers, these ones we've got at the aquarium, if you want to dive the sharks at the Planet Aquarium, this won't happen, I can guarantee you. So there it is, the 6-foot shark being wrestled by a diver, and the shark's like, get off me! Get off me! And the diver does this to the warning signs, which it's trying to get away. The shark then turns, boom.
What going to be now?
That is a provoked shark attack, not unprovoked. So the guy swam up. I probably will skip out the gory bit, to be perfectly honest. Should we just stop it there? The guy was fine. He didn't die. As people always ask me after showing that video. I've just revealed something to you guys.
Why were they wrestling with a shark?
Who's saying that? Stick your hand up. Ah, there we are. You've got to remove it because when the pups are born, anything that's born in a shark tank, sharks immediately like trying to sniff after it and try and eat it. So they remove them from the tank, so they give birth in quarantine, so the babies can be removed without harm and then put behind the scenes. What you should have with a sand tiger though, is you should have boards underwater, so if the shark comes towards you, you can block it, and you're supposed to have a really large see-through bag to coax the shark into, and then seal it, and then pull it out. But these guys are obviously little undersea cowboys, and they decided to go for a little rodeo on a sand tiger. So, I've never seen a sand tiger get removed from the tank at Blue Planet, but I know how it's done, and that's why when I saw this video, I was actually quite amazed that people weren't saying that it was a shark attack and that it was actually the guy's fault for trying to ride a sand tiger. So, sorry, I've already showed you this. Now, just to show you what curiosity in a shark looks like, this is a video I took in 2015 of a baby sickle fin lemon shark trying to figure out what my GoPro camera was. No, don't want to show you that. What are you doing? That was big. I was like, woo! So it went off and I was like, oh, and then I saw it come back and I was like this. So he comes back, you can see him in the background, up he comes. He didn't come back. After that he was like, stuff me, and then off he went. But they were about this big. And what was actually going on was about 6 foot to my right, there was a Maldivian local feeding giant stingrays. And the shark was waiting behind the stingrays for any food that came away. But he obviously heard the zzz of the GoPro at the shore and went, oh, that's obviously something interesting, and came over to see what it was. But in reality, he wasn't really looking at it like it was a food item. So sharks and people. She's holding her breath for too long there for my liking, to be honest. So shark attacks. So we're going to play a game, and I need 5 people to come down to the front and play this game. Now, if you don't stick your hands up, I'm going to start picking, and I am cruel. So who wants to come down? Right, that's fine. Yourself with the golden star, down you come. Dave, come on down, mate. Yeah, you knew you were going to get picked on that. The guy at the back with the terrific hairstyle. Come on, there you go. David, I'm being serious, down you go. Let's go. Oh, I thought you were going back like 1, 2, 3. Where's Eleanor? Come on. Should we pick Megan again? We won't embarrass you 2 years in a row. And we'll have one more person as well.
You're a volunteer there.
Before I go really good, go on then, squid, off you go. Squid, you get to do something different. So you guys stay there for a second, come with me. You're not coming into my cupboard, don't you know?
Just gonna try.
We're not obstructing the camera at all. Charlotte was busy cleaning up the turtles'
here for me, and Dave, you stand here for me. Okay. Spread out a bit. Okay, what's up today? Dave, you stand there. You stand there. Fantastic. Right. So I'm going to stand up here because it's great. So essentially, what this game is going to do is just show you guys where shark attacks occur and with what sports that they occur with as well. So, David, we're going to start with how deep shark attacks occur. So you're going to be ankle to knee, okay? Well, actually, no, I forgot to introduce the main characters of this. Squid, throw them out for us, mate. So this is our shark. And our shark is moving around the sea one day and sees 4 people swimming in the ocean. So David is ankle to knee deep. You are going to be waist to shoulders. You're going to be in, let's say, I don't know, like 10 metres of water. You're going to be in deep, deep water, open water. Okay? So which person will the shark attack? Around it goes. Bang. There we go. Shark attack. So most shark attacks actually occur in deep depth between your ankles and your knees. And that's because the most dangerous shark in the world is the bull shark that lives for the first 6 to 8 years of its life in these environments, feeding on stingrays and small fish that live in the tidal area. So when you see people bathing in ankle to knee deep water, that is where you're most likely to be bitten by a shark. So a lot of people go, I don't want to go too deep because I might get bitten by a shark. The minute what you're saying is, no, get out there. That's where you're least likely to get bitten. So where do shark attacks occur? So let's say you're on a beach, okay, one day, which everyone's done at some point, and David is going to be just bathing somewhere on a beach, let's say ankle to knee deep water again, for example, just a normal beach. You're going to be on a sandbar, okay, so out in the middle of the water. You're going to be on a drop-off, so where the reef drops off in the water, and you're going to be by a river mouth, okay, so where a river flows out into the ocean. Who does the shark attack? Moving along, boom, straight there. So you're actually more likely to be bitten by a river mouth because the nice fresh water flowing out to the ocean, or the bull sharks, or a lot of sharks tend to wait there waiting for fish to flow out of the river, basically into their mouths. So that's where you're most likely to be bitten, on a beach. Now what sport are you likely to be bitten with? So with yourself, you've got swimming, just bathing. I'm sorry, you've got all the boring ones. Okay? All the bathing, swimming, you're going to be scuba diving, you're going to be spearfishing, and I'm trying to think. Fishing. Okay. So which one's the shark attack? There we go. Spearfishing. So you're more likely to be attacked if you're a spearfisherman, because of course, and it's something stupid like 75% of shark attack victims back in the 70s were spearfishermen, because you're spearfishing the fish, blood goes into the water, sharks coming in from all around, and then you've got to fight off sharks to keep your fish, as the same as the video I showed you before. And then this is where you get an angry shark that goes, you know what, I don't like you and I want your fish. And then they tuck into a bit of spearfisherman's arm. Okay? So thank you very much, guys. Do me a favour, give them a round of applause. The rest of the talk, but you can take it off, it's up to you. If he wants to take it off, that's fine. Give me a set, nice. He wants to keep it on. Oh, did you all hear that? Sounded a bit weird, didn't it, from the back? Let me unzip you. So, a lot of people, it's a hybrid, the Indominus shark, like. Right, Kieran and Mitchell know this costume when I wore it for Halloween last year. So when it comes down to sharks, we tend to what's known as anthropomorphize sharks, which is we give them a character, we give them good and evil, and we do it with every single animal that you can possibly imagine. Okay, so let's just give you a few examples. Who likes kittens? Stick your hands up. Oh, there's a few people that really don't know if they like kittens or not. Okay. Was there someone who was like going yes or was sneezing and I wasn't too sure? Was that yourself? Oh, I think so. All right, okay, that's fine. So hands up if you like puppies. Baby crocodiles. Most people should have their hands up for that. Hands up if you like tarantulas. Centipedes. Slugs. Snails. Or horses. Hands up if you like horses. Hands up if you like sharks. Yeah, you go, pretty much everyone. So when you go to people, you know, about anthropomorphizing animals, the best example of an organisation doing this is Disney. I'm sorry, we all love Disney, I know, but they are the worst at it. So I'm going to use a few examples. If you look at Jungle Book,